So just letting you all know that I am recording. This is recording. Hello, welcome everyone. As we let you in, welcome to our first episode or issue of home delivery, Click and Connect. Creative City Hobsons Bay created home delivery, just Click and Connect, a new online program that delivers creative content straight to you every Thursday lunchtime. And each week we're going to feature chats with performers, artists. We're going to have some musical performers, various creatives from the Hobsons Bay area. And it was created to support, engage, and showcase local and creative community during, what's this, our 70 billionth lockdown. So welcome. It's lovely to see everyone dropping into the first one today. Before we get started, actually, I do want to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands that we're meeting on today. Now, we're all meeting on different lands, but the Indigenous people of this country were the original artists and educators, and I pay my respects to elders past, present, future, and emerging. So today, I'm Matto Lucas, and I'm very lucky and grateful to be able to chat with the amazing Jude and Belinda. Jude and Belinda were the recipients of a Hobsons Bay Recovery Reconnection Make It Happen grant, and were able to create this amazing project, Together Apart Life in Lockdown, which has spawned exhibitions, a book, plenty of press and publicity. It's really beautiful and incredible. Now, they are bubble buddies. I should mention that. That's why they're sitting together. So no angry emails, please, or comments in the chat. I'm going to chat with Belinda and Jude today, and the chat's open for you to ask any questions at the end of this beautiful set of slides we've got, this presentation. There will be some time for further questions. So just pop them in the chat and we'll get to them as we move on. So without further ado, thank you for joining us, Jude and Belinda. How are you going?
Oh, great. You know, enjoying lockdown 6.
It's awesome.
Yeah, we seem to have created some sort of arts model that all it does is talk about lockdown. So yeah, there will be roses and freedom soon.
Hopefully.
Well, somebody who went to our exhibition said, I can't believe, you know, you made this a year ago and it's still current.
Yeah, this project, we thought we were capturing a you know, creating a time capsule of what people were doing in lockdown. We thought, oh, we better do it now. We've got to do it really quickly because, you know, things change and we want to seize the moment. But we're still seizing the moment and seizing and seizing and seizing.
So this project was all made in 2020?
Yes.
Oh, wow. And do you have any thoughts to take it forward and do a second version or add on to this series of images for 2021?
You know, we've been asked that a couple of times and we always said no, because that means we'd be in another lockdown.
Oh.
Yeah, so number 6.
Who could have seen it coming?
No, but see, the thing is that this, one of the key things of it is that this was at the beginning of the lockdown. So this is before it became the new norm.
Yeah.
You know, before, well, we were still shocked about having to wear masks or having curfews and not being able to see our family. So that, you know, that I think that, like, looking back at it now, what it does capture is less fatigue and more, yeah, more shock, more, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Before we get too further into it, for those that are joining us that aren't really aware of the project Together Apart, do you want to give us a bit of a brief synopsis and overview about how you guys met and how it kind of kicked off?
You go.
Well, many years ago, like, I'm a studio photographer, and Belle, I photographed her daughter, her beautiful semi puppy, and we met and we clicked, but, you know, life was really busy, so we just lost contact. And then just before COVID, I closed my big commercial studio and run a studio from home, and coincidentally I just moved next to Belle. And that was, I think, the universe telling us, like, you know, you have to be friends. You're going to do something great together. So that's how we met. And then in the first ever lockdown, that was March 2020.
Tasmanians don't miss out on seeing
Sorry, I'm just going to ask if you're dropping in just to mute yourself. Thank you. Sorry, Jude. Yep.
That's okay. And then when it all started, like March last year, I thought, oh, people are doing crazy things. People were posting. That's actually the first photo I took for the book. Like a mom from school, she went to the library just before it shut down, and they borrowed like 72 books. And I thought, oh my God, and people were stocking up and transforming the businesses all like as soon as possible. So I thought, I need to capture this. So I started capturing these stories, and all really quick, because I thought soon there will be lockdowns and I can't do this anymore. And all from a distance with a long lens. And I asked people some questions to write, what are you doing differently now? And how does it make you feel? And people just wrote beautiful essays. But Belle, being the writer and the journalist, like, oh my God, there's some mistakes in there. Can I please tidy it up? So, then
that sounds really, I'm talking commas, like I'm a bit of a punctuation aficionado. So they were gorgeous stories.
Yeah.
Punctuation aficionado is my new favorite phrase. So much better than a grammar Nazi.
I know. I didn't want to use that. I'm trying to, but it's true. I love it. Yeah. So Jude, the thing is, Jude and I share a fence, and so we were literally standing over the fence talking about this project, and I was like, oh, Jude, just let me fix up a couple of apostrophes and stuff, and so because she was posting them up on Facebook, and the community started to grow and get bigger, and people were sharing their experiences, and I still cannot remember the point where we said, hey, let's take this to a book and throw all of our working energy, lives, money, because we self-published it. We funded the creation of the book ourselves. And that's how it got to the book.
Beautiful hardcover, printed in Melbourne, letters. We're still very, very proud of our book.
Of course, it's beautiful. But you were saying, you were saying that the exhibitions came before the book, or no, the exhibitions came after.
Yeah.
And you had three exhibitions of this work on in different spaces at the same time, which I can say as an artist is incredible and so amazing. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Well, we've had a lot of support since we created the book. It was quite hard to describe it to people when we were in the process, even to the printers. And, we were doing everything remotely as well.
Yeah.
Jude shot everything, her 60 portraits with her wide angle lens. And then all of the interviews were done by phone. I didn't meet most of the people in the book until the book launch, which coincidentally was the first day that Melbourne came out of the long lockdown. So the really long lockdown. So we met our printers, I think the day we got to, the day we were allowed to go for the 25 kilometres. So we drove over the West Gate. We were
amazing.
Screaming. I may have taken a video of it.
Yeah. Road trip.
It was exactly like a road trip. I had the roof down and we were flying over there, and we met this printer where we're like, we've got this idea, we want to print this book, we want to print it in Melbourne because there was so much unemployment.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of us have readapted now, but at that time printers were just sitting around, twiddling their thumbs. So we took in this manuscript and said, right, how do we make this a book?
You were mentioning what I think is interesting is so you were shooting with a telephoto lens or a zoom lens, and you were conducting, Belinda, the interviews via phone. How did that change the responses, or how did that change your regular practice?
Well, we were just talking about it then. No Zoom, because Zoom does distract, I believe. I've been a journalist for so many years. Like, I don't want to share. Don't just say more than 20 years. I've been a journalist, so I've always done phone interviews. And before this, I was a travel journalist, so I would always be interviewing people in Shanghai. Where are you going for coffee in Shanghai, or which is the best karaoke bar in Belfast. So I'd always done that sort of thing. So so for me, that part wasn't such a shift, and I've always worked from home. The last time I worked in an office was in News Corp for a brief second, about 12 years ago. ago. So yeah, so I was always working from home, but Jude, it was a whole different ballgame for you.
Because I normally do studio work and all hands on, helping with posing and make everything look perfect. And this was all very, normally I give clothing advice. A lot of people do hair and makeup,
and it's in color,
and fully edited, like no wrinkles, no flyaway hairs. And this was just raw. A lot of people I just turned up. They wore what they wore.
So it was a completely different aesthetic to your normal practice.
100%, yes. Distant, keep the distance. I'm normally very, I would normally hug or, shake hand, like nothing. And later the masking. But with Belinda, with the stories as well, because the first stories we asked people, that was at the beginning. But when we started making a book, and that was in the second lockdown, people had changed, because in the beginning everybody was like, oh, I love spending more time with my children. I'm going for walks,
making sourdough,
all good.
Too much sourdough.
Yes.
And then we were reading the stories and going, everyone's just totally digging this lockdown. And that was, right at the top. And then when Melbourne got deeper and deeper into the second lockdown, I thought this is not actually a realistic portrait of what's happening. So we bring people, and one of those sourdough making, children climbing trees people was just like, I'm just sitting in the corner and, Dan Murphy's on speed dial. And you just sit in the corner rocking with a bottle of wine at 11 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, wow, that's and I was really impressed with the candor of the people that we interviewed, because we were talking about their businesses and their social lives. And now I think we can all admit that maybe we do not get out of our pajamas until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And
this is the first day I've put a shirt on.
Makeup.
I had a shower and did my hair, so yeah, I understand. I'm so interested in that change of aesthetic or that change of practice. Do you see? I know we're in another lockdown in studio photography. We're not able to have patrons or guests back in our studios and home studios, but do you see that the skills or the shift that you've had from creating these images coming into your regular practice at all in the future, or how has it changed your kind of
not so much as such. However, I do see a huge difference, because before all the lockdown started, I photographed a lot of families, like pets, newborns, maternity, and their stories. However, last year during the lockdowns and then everything in between, I think 95% I photographed were people like branding photos. So, so you just notice that everyone was working on their website, on the social media, and with branding photos, they wanted all the different photos for, talks or
because our lives are online so much now. Then the way that you project is online. So Jude's been shooting
headshots and branding, and I really love it. Helping women feel amazing again, especially after being locked up for so long.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So just getting back to, sorry to interrupt. Just getting back to the exhibitions.
Yes.
Can you walk us through?
Yeah.
Yep.
So the first one we had on before, these are amazing flags. They're all over. This is one in Altona, just opposite of the beach.
Yeah, just before you go onto the pier, you can see 4 of the portraits.
And then there's 2 more at the railway
station. So you can see there's Nolene, who's the octogenarian. We can say she's 80 plus. And she's a really great story that Jude discovered. And when I rang to interview Nolene, this is one of my favorite stories, coincidentally. She could remember the last time Australia had food rationing, which was in the Great Depression. It was just, I know, and sometimes when as a journalist, you get this thing, this is a sensational story, and you get this little sort of, that hair stands up in your arms. And that's what I got from Nolene. It was like, this is incredible. She's talking about as a kid, her mum would pin these little coupons to the top of her shirt, and she would toddle off to the shop and get butter and milk on rationing. And now she was talking about, we've got rationing of toilet paper and mince and home brand pasta and that nasty pasta sauce stuff Yeah, I'm a purist. So so that's 4 of the images that you can see that are from the book that are in the exhibitions as well.
And then there's 2 more at the railway station in Altona, and there's more in Williamstown, but we haven't been able to go there with the lockdowns. So hopefully they're still up.
And this is amazing because it does, because it is a public space and it's outdoors, people get to see the works and see the images on their 5 kilometer, 1 hour daily exercise.
Absolutely. So many people do walks along the beach.
Yeah.
So,
but I think that this is a really important point about art in general. If we're talking about the art community, I think that because we've had an exhibition, we had 6 billboards. Have you got a photo on there? 6 billboards up at the substation, which is the Arts Hub at the Arts Hub in Newport, which just came down on Tuesday morning. Cried, tears,
because it went up, and the day after we went in lockdown, so that was really sad.
It was heartbreaking. So we were actually quite inspired. There was an exhibition here a few years ago about called the Manus Island portraits, which were of some of the refugees, including that super famous Iranian journalist whose name I now can't remember. Of these men who have been incarcerated for a long period of time, and they're very stark, very piercing photos, and we wanted to bring in a representation of what we thought was happening in lockdown. So, the mask wearing, the children with their teddy bears behind, kept in their houses, the beaches being closed. The one at the end is of the doctor who was working in ED. So, but my point is that public art has never been as important as what it is now.
100%.
We need to bring in more public spaces, more art. And not just visual arts, all creatives, including sound, into and utilize our public spaces.
So this one looks amazing as well. It's also in a civic center.
Yep.
They're 1 meter by 1 meter. They're huge, and they look really amazing, especially because there's so many in a row.
You can see them if you go squish your nose up.
Yeah, we have.
Council is not going to appreciate it. No one's wearing makeup now or putting moisturizer on, so it'll be fine. So you can actually squish your nose up and see them through the window. Yeah.
And then we're also in the Williamstown Library.
Amazing.
Yeah. So this is just 2 close-ups. You want to share a bit more about the story?
We can talk about Bill. Bill's a gorgeous artist who lives just around the corner from us, and he was working on his entry for the Archibald Prize. When I rang him, I was like, Bill, what are you doing? And he was like, I am working on my Archibald Prize interest. And he was painting Dr. Makash, who was the former AMA head of the Australian Medical Association, and he has a clinic in Altona North. And he's actually the doctor who's been driving that, that big vaccination hub at Bayfit.
Amazing.
In Altona North. Yeah, so he's been very driven in that. And that was the portrait that Bill entered in the Archibald Prize.
And this is actually Sandra Wilson.
Amazing.
Yeah, yes. Sandra, who's the former mayor of Hobsons Bay, and she sat for Bill a few times. Yeah, he's a very.
This was at the. Oh, sorry. This was at the library. This
sorry. This photo, yes. This exhibition and this one too. We just took 2 photos
at Williamstown, and then said, we'll go back again.
And then we're going to lock down. So
we couldn't. So the library's closed. So yeah, we've got these couple of shots. But if they are still there, so you can go upstairs. So when you walk into Williamstown Library and then you go up to the mezzanine level.
Once it opens up.
Once they open up, they have a really beautiful space that's open to artists for free to exhibit as well. I know it's a really gorgeous space. They had it repainted and zhuzhed up.
So I think about the substation billboard space, I don't think you should mourn it, because I know there's people. The train line goes past there, and so it's such a great space to promote work, because people on public transport can see the artwork. You don't really have to get off the train. So I'm sure essential workers and people commuting to work and taking the trains were able to enjoy and experience the works.
Oh, I caught the train. Videoing my life. I caught it and videoed it and sent it to Jude. This is what we're pretty proud of ourselves.
Yeah, no, you should be. It's incredible work, and it's I just can't get over the fact 3 different exhibitions or 3 different spaces at the same time. Really incredible work there. So
there was going to be a 4th one for Wyndham, but that got cancelled as well.
Yes, the Wyndham Learning Festival, which happened just a couple of, it went all online, and we were going to have physical exhibition, even though it was going to be contactless, was, you know, the venues were closed. So
but this has got a lot of attention in the media anyway, hasn't it? It's been featured in The Age, is that right?
That's Belle. Belle worked really hard to get us everywhere.
Yeah,
really. And
but I've also written for The Age for. I had a travel column with them for about 7 years. So, and I've written for them maybe about 10 years. So, yes, I did just rip the newspaper apart and relentlessly say it's a really great story. These stories are amazing. Our stories are amazing.
Yes, definitely. It's so bizarre timing, because last night there was an Arts West workshop about promoting yourself as an artist, basically, or how to get your work across journalists' faces and into The Age and into publications. So do you have any, apart from your own personal connections for artists that might have joined us, do you have any like tips or tricks to getting our work in front of journalists' faces?
Yeah, look, I think you can't underestimate the value of a good press release. And this was a lesson for us as well, because we had to find the core of the story, and the story, you know, what is the point of it? What is the crux of it? And for us, this was the book that was born over the back fence. You know, it was something that was created out of necessity, and everything sort of comes from that. You know, our relationship together, which is, you know, how we've been able to create and also, you know, save our own sanity and our children's sanity as well. But so I think a strong press release, a high social media presence, you know, and working cross platforms, and that's Instagram as well as your website. You know, using LinkedIn.
I think like where it worked so well for us, because I'm very visual, so I did like I built the website and all of that, and then Belle was really good, obviously, with words. So I think our us being a duo. Works really well. Like, I couldn't have done it without Belle, because
well, I wouldn't have had any photos to promote.
No, you know, like being able to write press releases and all of that, like I couldn't have done it.
But to be media ready is extremely important. When you are, you know, you have your Dropbox of images ready, you have high res, you have low res, you have a quote ready, you have your biography ready. You don't go out, you know, with a half, you know, with the message done. You know, as journalists are strapped for time, there's less journalists on the newsroom floor. You've got to give them a package and show them, you know, this is what I think is.
Oh, you're frozen.
The core of it.
Oh,
they might.
Sorry, you're back. Apologies.
I had an else on the moment, you know.
Now, you were saying before as well that you were creating for your own sanity and your family's sanity. Now, being in Hobsons Bay, how would you describe the creative community? And, you know, doing this project, have you come across, apart from, sorry, what was it, Bob with his Archibald entry, any other artists working in the area?
It's kind of hard because of lockdown.
Yeah.
I like the small things that I find actually in around Altona, when people have done hidden art and small installations around Altona.
I love the installation at the beach. Those beautiful sculptures.
The sculptures, the weedy sea dragons.
Yeah, and crab. I think there's beautiful and super cute.
Yeah, absolutely. But we've been following a ferry trail as well around Altona, and then there's the QR codes that you can follow walks and stories of Hobsons Bay, which is a really great initiative, especially with children. You know, you get exercise and they get to use a phone. Yeah. So I think that's been quite successful. Yeah. I think you know, we used to use the space. I'm talking very Altona here at the moment, but we used to use that space at the on Pier Street for paste ups, and I'd like to see more of that coming back. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a big advocate of public art spaces, and I do think that places like Northcote and Brunswick have hijacked the, oh my gosh, we're so arty because we're like Northside. But, you know, if you want to talk industrial grunge, then, you know, the West's got it all over everybody else.
Oh, 100%. The West
we have those big spaces.
Yeah, definitely. And sorry, Jude, are you going to add to that?
Me?
Oh, sorry, I'm having a bit of a delay. I'm having the cliche Zoom tech issues here with a little bit of freezing and delay there. I might, sorry, Zoom is we're getting on, we've got 5 minutes left, so I might actually just open this up for any questions from everyone today. So if you've got any questions, I'm just going to open the chat and have a bit of a look through. Alternative public artwork near the pier is Seaborn by Pauline Fraser, starring the witty sea dragon, Janet. Thanks, Janet. Hi, Janet. Awesome. So if anyone has any questions about this project or for Jude and Belinda, feel free to pop into the chat.
We're trying to, we're opening the chat too.
And we can flick through some of the images that are there.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Yeah. So, this is,
there we go.
That's Belinda's favorites.
Yeah, I've got to say, this shows how long we're in lockdown for. You know, like they're talking about the booming babies now.
This is awesome. I love this. This is so good.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Yeah.
There's a question. What's next? Will you do another project together? Yes, we want to do another project. We have some ideas, but you know, we've also been locked up.
Yeah.
And this has taken a lot of our time. We never thought it would be so
all-encompassing.
Yes, making a book, because we just, okay, let's make a book.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah.
No idea. So yes, we have some ideas, but we also try to stay, you know, afloat with our own businesses and sane, and our kids being homeschooled. But yes, we definitely want to work together because we work really well as a team. So this is actually the first photo, how it all started, like I mentioned before, the mom who borrowed 72 books from the library, and I thought, you know, I need to capture that. So this is actually the start of the book and the project.
That's awesome.
This is another one of my favorites because I love the photo, and you know, when the beach was actually closed, I thought, oh my god, the beach is closed. You know, that's just
yeah, that's when the insanity started to set in, I think, really. Especially for children, you know. I mean, you know, kids can exercise and stuff, but I have only one child, and so for a very long time it's just the two of us in the house.
Yeah, that's it. So.
It's like, oh, Mom, you're so boring.
Especially when the beach is right there as well. That would be horrifying.
Yeah, and kids like to dig on the sand and just run around in circles, you know, be children. So when that wasn't allowed, it's still not allowed. It's a bit, it's just heartbreaking. So this is my favorite photo, and from a lot of people, because to me this really sums up, you know, how locked up we are, the children behind the windows. And also I've got the teddy bear trail, what was at the beginning as well, that people would put teddy bears in the windows and all the little kids would spot them.
Stella, hi Stella, I saw your question. Are we planning book number 2? What would you put in book number 2?
Well, it's an idea, like we're not going to make it, but like in the first version of everything, people said that how much they love being at home, you know, spending time with the children. And I wonder, like, once we all open up, how much time people really take again, you know, to just smell the roses and just be with the children and make sourdough. So
more sourdough?
They all love, like, oh my god, I love cooking, I love this. So I just wondered, like, I wouldn't do this as a book, but I still wonder with all the good, what's the word, like the good intentions that people have, how much do they keep them once the life opens up?
We're all going on holiday. Let me tell you, as a travel writer, there's a thing called revenge travel. And we are just going to get out there, and we don't care how much and how many tests we're going to do.
100%. I am so ready for revenge travel. Oh my god!
You like it? It's a great word.
I love it.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing. Because, you know, I mean, the week before, the year, 2 months before, I think everyone's hanging on to that last memory. I was in Finland just before lockdown. I'm still holding on to the snow. Yeah.
Janet has asked, will you continue to work in black and white after this, to Jude? Which I think is a really good question.
It really depends. I love black and white for these photos because it's just, there's no distractions. For portrait work, I sometimes do color as well, black and white as well, but often color is, I don't know. I love it both. It has a different purpose.
There's something very timeless about these black and whites. They become almost instantly historical. you know.
Yes, that was the aim with this, absolutely, yeah.
Beautiful.
And then Tony Burton from how many stories did you capture as part of this project? Well, only about maybe 65 extra. Some people, when we started making it a book, they pulled out, or they had some big dramas that they said, oh, you know, but yeah.
60 stories are in the book.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. And we had to draw a
Huge.
line as well and say, okay, we can't add anything more. We have to go to print, and people would say,
Yes.
oh, but then this happened because some, you know,
we had a
things
lot
have
more
to-
stories we could add, but it was like, no, then we never finished.
Yeah.
And things would change as well. Like you were saying,
All
that
the
at the
time.
start you were capturing a more joyous or serene version of lockdown, and then towards the end it was a little bit darker.
Yeah, you wanna-
Not all of them, but have you got the headstanders in here? We did actually, because there we go, headstanders. Joyous, you know. I think they're probably still standing on their heads. You know, and they had a really great line because we wrote it all in first person as well, so it was from their words. And then the girl said, you know, we just like we like being upside down because that's what the world is like at the moment.
Oh, I love that.
Yes,
Yeah.
me too.
Beautiful.
This actually I mentioned because one day I was, I think, riding my bike to get some groceries, and then I saw these poor lollipop people. I thought, oh my God, they've been standing here, especially the person on the back of the school where no child ever goes. And I thought, wow, there's all these people who are still out there doing their job and, you know, doing this. And I just felt so sorry for these people.
Yeah, the most bizarre circumstances as well. I often felt sorry for checkout workers or supermarket workers having to go into the supermarket during the apocalypse, you know, and stack the shelves. So
yeah,
I do have to say we are at 12:30. So unless I'm just gonna, I do love Stella's the question statement, life out of lockdown, as a suggestion for book 2, which is brilliant. So I just want to thank you so much for your time and your generosity in sharing this story with us and these images and this project. I think it's incredible. I want to thank everyone for coming along today and for your questions and engaging and dropping in. I do have an email if you want to send some feedback. Now, this is the first episode, so we're kind of, you know, we're new, we're seeing what works and you know, making things happen. So there is an email address for some feedback that I'll pop in the chat if I can find it. You know what? I can't find it. So I'm sure if you go to the Facebook event, it'll be updated in there. So I just want to thank everyone. See you hopefully next Thursday for another version of Click and Connect. And thank you so much, Jude and Belle.
Can we just, one last thing. We really want to thank the people at the council because they have always supported us. Like, it's been really good. Like, it's been quite a big journey for us, and often we had beautiful, you know, we're going to go do the Willy Lid Festival and all of that, and then it got cancelled. And at council, they were always there for us and supporting us. So thank you.
Amazing. Thank you. Have a great afternoon.
Bye. Thank you so much. Bye.